Welcome to Top Advisor Marketing, where you will learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your practice. Brought to you by Top Advisor Podcasting, a done-for-you podcasting solution built just for trusted advisors. And now, your co-hosts of Top Advisor Marketing, Kirk Lowe and Matt Halloran.
Hello and welcome to episode number 64 of the Top Advisor Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Halloran. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're talking about how to use Medicare, so marketing Medicare as a differentiator. This is a really fun podcast because we've got two experts on with us today, and they're going to talk about not only how they have been successful in using Medicare as a marketing tool, but also they teach all of you, all of our listeners, how to do this too. And surprisingly enough, they do it for little to no money. In fact, they both told me free, which is a word I don't generally use on this podcast. And I'll make sure that I give their contact information out in a minute. So our guests today are Gwynne Elberson and Joanne Gynnn Russell. I got Giardini right?
You did.
Okay, yay! All right, so
nice
good.
Job.
So Gwynne and Joanne, actually, Gwynne, let's start with you. How
Sure.
did you get here? How did this end up happening?
Oh, I stumbled right into it, like a brick wall. I actually was working for a company, and Joanne and I were colleagues. And before I worked at this company, I knew very little about the Medicare space, the healthcare space in general, specifically Medicare. Working there, I did some marketing and business development, and I got to hear agents on the phone every day with folks. Just amazing the need for education and information. And so Joanne and I teamed up, and here we are at Boomer Health Group.
All right, Joanne, and you were on the other end of the phone for a while, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I came through the channel of age 22, getting out of Michigan State and going into insurance. I never thought I'd end up there, but I did immediately. So I've been in insurance for 30 years, classic insurance, every kind you can imagine, actually. And then in 2010, I actually went and dipped my toes into the financial arena, financial with my Series 6, 63, 65. I didn't enjoy that market at all. And a few years ago, really was introduced to the fact that the Medicare component to planning, just honestly, it is not covered very well in the advisor space. And it really should stand alone. And as we have created the platform where we can help advisors help it stand alone for their clientele. And it's such a huge part of people's financial plans and their future and their concern that's their healthcare. So really, I ditched out on all those licenses and I am just happy as a lark. And so we are truly 100% of Medicare land every single day. And when you start doing something 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, you get pretty good at it.
Absolutely.
So we partner then. So that's why our entree is over to the advisor platform and helping them become more successful with their clients.
Now, this seems very nebulous to me. So I don't normally have people who come on and talk about something as specific as this. And I also know that it's terrifying for a lot of advisors. And of course, it's way more terrifying to their clients because as we were talking before we started recording today, one of the things that you had said was so many advisors notice that their clients are taking a substantial amount of their money out of their retirement to pay for healthcare. So can you give us a brief education? I know we could spend all day on this, but a brief education on that, and then tell us how you are getting in front of clients and how you are providing the education to not only clients, but also financial services professionals.
Yeah, it's actually become very easy because I came out of that arena. My first question was everyone around me, what do you know about Medicare? What don't you know? The answers from advisors were pretty poor. 62, you're eligible. No, it's Social Security. So, we just threw into being experts and became the experts. So then we can kind of work with them with the clientele. But absolutely, these folks are in the wrong drug plans. They are on the wrong programs for basic coverages. And we'll go in and do some seminars. And this is a great way for client interaction is to invite a group of 10. We've had, just customized small groups. And we enjoy this. And then we come in with 3 agents. We have 10 clients sitting there from the advisor camp. And then after the generic 1 hour talk about Medicare and issues, we kind of do break-off groups, this has been extremely well received, where, Gwynne will sit there and run a drug plan for somebody. Allie will run one for somebody else, a different couple, and I'll do a third one. And we found one recently where the guy really should have been on a different drug plan this year, and he is spending $14,000 this year for medications, and he should have been spending $4,000 for medications. So $10,000 difference is coming from someplace, from that personal economy of this guy. And, it really comes down to the people don't know where to go for help. And the advisors, I truly, when I'm speaking to a group of advisors, I'll go in front of 50 advisors and I will try and terrify them to not handle Medicare. I don't want them handling it because it is so specialized. And, I'm not doing what they're doing. And again, it takes the 10 hours a day to be an expert in something. So we stay in our lane and we report back to the advisor. Hey, this client should have been here. We'll help change them next fall when we can. But there's $10,000 that's, we got to come up with. And then the other thing that we offer too, what I think is fantastic, is that beyond just saying, hey, you're going to spend another $10,000 you didn't need to this year, we also have resources from across the country that we can help that client. So I went back to that particular guy a couple of times and I said, hey, here's a different source and here's another source. So hopefully he isn't spending $10,000, he's maybe spending $3,000 more than he has to. And then again, we're visiting him in the fall to then, put him in the proper plan for 2019 when we're able to do that. So we really do, I think, a bang-up job with the service. And we're not compensated even for any of those things that just transpired that I just told the story of. So it's unique. It makes the advisor stand out for getting that, getting that person into somebody's good hands that is helping them. Because, commonly it's like, oh my gosh, thanks for the referral. Sure. Thank your advisor for sending it to us. That's how I handle things. So
the commissions on this, I'm going to get granular here. Apologize for this if this is not an appropriate thing to talk about necessarily.
We're full transparent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very appropriate.
I'm glad you pointed that, Matt.
Well,
I'll show commissions. I don't care. We'll talk about anything.
Well, I have heard that the commissions are drying up on some of this stuff. I mean, and that's why a lot of advisors have run away from it. So I would like to ask that question. Sure. But I have one other quick question, which is, shouldn't this education, and maybe I'm just an idealist, and for those people who listen to this podcast know that I'm a crazy idealist, but shouldn't advisors who are planners have this as part of the plan? I guess that's, I feel like I'm not making a connection here, how that wouldn't be going on.
Well, they're not diving into healthcare. I can tell you that. They're not asking the proper questions, in my opinion. They're really not touching on premiums, how much you're paying out of pocket, which leads into, long-term care conversations. These are big financial items. I think mostly it doesn't occur because most people are just kind of afraid of what they don't know in terms of being the advisor. They don't know the Medicare. We come in and teach the differences between Medicare Advantage plans and Medigap programs. And there is a huge difference between those. And even commissions, there's a big difference. But the advisor doesn't understand what these plans entail, so therefore they can't give that information on to their clients. I do some webinars for LPL, for example. I'll do training webinars every 6 weeks. Every time I do a webinar, I get a call the next day from a couple of advisors that are 67, 68 years old. They're on the wrong plan. Oh my God, I heard you say this. I'm on the wrong plan. So if the advisors are on what I consider the wrong plan, and after they hear the alternative, they always want the alternative. So it starts there, right? So I've actually been with advisors that just say, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I would have purchased that one if I knew. And I've been telling my clients for 3 years to go get the wrong thing. Well, stop. Don't tell them anything. I'd much rather they just say, look, let's pause here and get some questions answered, and let's just shift you over to the Boomer Health Group, and they'll take care of you from there. It's such a big thing that can go wrong. And it is a lot of times irreversible in terms of damage. People have insurability issues after a certain point with Medicare. It is just a completely different animal than under 65 healthcare. So it's not just numbers. It's not just, how much you're paying for this. Oh, okay, great. Let's just check that off the financial plan. It's what kind of coverage do you have? Do you want to be able to make the right choices for your personal doctor? How about travel? How does that work into here? Are you a snowbird? Are you going to Florida for 9 weeks a year? Let's make sure your plan's going to work. There's so many things that we're in tune to listening to and coaching on that advisors just don't have the awareness, right? It's tough. But should it be going on? Absolutely. Is it going on? I don't think so. Talked to a new advisor yesterday. He just said, look, I don't even want to touch this stuff. And as you suggested too, commissions. These aren't high price commissions. We get $300 when we help somebody. These are, it's not much. Wow. We have volume, so therefore we're fine. But it's not something they're going to learn to spend spend that time and effort on. And this guy just said, look, I just want what's good for my client. Great. How much do you cost? We say free, and we are free. There's no charge for what we do. We are compensated by the insurance carriers, and we keep our clientele, and you keep your clientele, and we're just here to enhance what they're doing. And it's a great, great, great marketing tool. People are really perking up to this Medicare conversation. I've been asked to speak at different conferences in Michigan and CPA events and things like that because they are realizing it's important. There's 10,000 of these folks a day turning 65. So basic questions start, do I even need to apply for this stuff? Because not everybody does. You're just eligible. So that's our starting point. Hey, you're getting there. What happens next? But there's nothing mandatory or normal about Medicare, that's for sure. So
how are you getting butts in seats? I hear advisors who say that they want to do something like this. Is this the key? Is this the thing that advisors have been looking for to get people to show up to a seminar, to an educational event, not just from an existing client standpoint, from a prospecting standpoint?
Yes. The guy that we talked about that does the successful, even the 10-person ones, he chooses to keep them very small. But he'll ask his client to go bring a friend, and they do. They bring friends to his office. He wants to control the situation, and we're fine. We just show up and do our thing wherever we need to be. So we make it very interactive, very casual, sort of fun. We joke. We have a good time. And it's been very successful for him. But I think the Medicare topic is what Social Security was to advisors 5 years ago. Remember, that used to fill the seats.
Heck yeah, it did.
Yeah. Well, now I think the shift is all of a sudden it is healthcare. It's talking. Healthcare costs have gone up so much too, even your out of pockets in the last 5 years. I think it's completely replaced. When I talk like that to advisors, they agree, and then they try it, and they can get 50 people. I talked to a new one the other day at lunch, and she said, "I'm confident I can have 50 people instantly, filling seats." So that we let that. That's on the advisor. We'll give them content, we'll give them the points, and it works. It just, the company that Gwynne and I were with prior to starting this current one, we had a connection with WJR, and we filled 400 people a day in seminars at a local university. So we had 800 people coming through. And we couldn't get them out of the seats in 2.5 hours. We kind of joked about, look, you're going to be here for a little bit, camp in. They won't leave. These people won't leave. Gwynne, you can attest to that.
Oh, I can attest. Honestly, in the thank yous, in the, oh my gosh, I didn't know this, and oh, I can't believe this, that in and of itself is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. These people are just inundated with information, misinformation, too much information, marketing, phone calls. It's just, they don't know what to do. They can't get a straight answer from anybody. And we provide the straight answer for them.
Can you work outside of Michigan? So we have thousands of people listen to our podcast every week, and I have a feeling you're going to get some phone calls from this. And so how does that work?
We work in all states. There's a couple states that are goofy with Medicare, such as Wisconsin. So if we're not in those states being licensed, we just licensed as we go. So we deal with, Texas. Florida's a little strange because you almost have to be sort of licensed per county because of the dense population of old folks. But I don't care. I will do consults in Florida, and I might not even write the case. I'm telling them, hey, go to United Healthcare and do this. So something to point out, too, is we represent all carriers. So we have every carrier, every state in the union. And if we don't have your state, we can be licensed in 24 hours. So that's not a problem either. But the coaching, because Medicare is standardized federally, it's the same. So the plans are going to work just about the same in all states. So, again, the fact that we might not do certain counties in Florida, that's fine. We're still going to help the brother, of the sister up here in Michigan. So we're fine. So we work everywhere. We do virtual. I should point that out too, a little bit how we work. So a lot of advisors will say, well, how do I work with you then? We're pretty virtual. We don't have to be in front of the client. So we do just this sort of a conversation over the phone. So they can call, they can get on a schedule. We call them exactly at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever time they pick. It's great. So we can do 45-minute consults, and we do applications over the phone. We do everything over the phone that we need to. So it's kind of funny. Some of our people will talk to us for an hour, and at the end of the hour, they're sort of like, well, we're done. Like they're sort of bummed that they're not going to keep talking to us. And we kind of laugh like, well, you're welcome to call anytime you want, but we completed this. Yeah, absolutely. So, it's not that we don't talk to them again. We're helping with the drug plans annually, things like that. Sure. But we want them in the right plan out the gate, too. This isn't something they need to change every year and be panicked about. So we really are just kind of there to do the calm and the teaching and the coaching. And it works very successfully over the phone. So we don't even meet a lot of our advisors or our clients live. Though in Michigan, obviously, we can meet them, over coffee and things like that. So it works well.
You touched on a couple of things there that I want to highlight since, we talk a lot about successful marketing. And I think people don't understand that the virtual component of what you do can be a wonderful and a huge aspect of marketing. So for those listeners who've been listening to our podcast for a while, when we talk about niches, that is such a huge component of real success when it comes to being a financial services professional. And what we have found is even if you are in Detroit, Michigan, Howell, Michigan, I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan, but we specialize in something, we can go anywhere because of the technology. I mean, right now, I've got Gwynne and I've got Joanne on Skype. They're on the other side of the state. It sounds like they're sitting right next to me. I can look at them if they want. They can do screen shares with me. They can do all of that stuff for all of you. And I want everybody who's listening to this to think about that. If you've got a specific niche, maybe you're doing, I'll use radiological oncologists, and that's what you specialize in. You know their language. You know what their needs are. There's no reason to stay regional. And I think with the folks here at Boomer Health Group, we're really, really seeing the opportunity because you guys have a whole team. Is that correct?
Yep. We do.
Okay.
We've got 3 agents right now and support team.
Okay.
And along those lines, Matt, I've got a financial advisor in North Carolina that focuses, or South Carolina, focuses on CRNAs. That's his niche. He's across the country, just CRNA. His wife happens to be one, so that's his specialty. But Gwynne, I think it's in May, is our webinar with that gentleman on a Saturday.
Yes.
So we just put together a webinar for his clients. So that's how he brings us in for his virtual across the country situation too, which is really cool.
It's funny. I know exactly who you're talking about. I talked to him last week about doing a podcast because he is so specialized. So that's funny. So next time you talk to him, make sure that you say that you were just on Matt's podcast and the Top Advisor Marketing Podcast. But he has been wildly successful with that.
Yep.
He obviously had a good in with his wife, but it doesn't have to be that first level connection when it comes to your niche. It can be a couple degrees away. I want to talk to both of you about social media because you are killing it on social media. I want everybody to look at their LinkedIn profiles, and we'll make sure that we have links to your LinkedIn profiles in the show notes. These are done really well, everybody. Everything that we've talked about to make sure that you're communicating effectively and you're getting the right words in front of the right people as fast as possible. When you look at Gwynne and Joanne's LinkedIn profile, they are rock stars on this. So let's talk about how you use social to market yourself and also help get the word out.
Wow. Thank you, Matt. That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Gwynne, talk about new business development. You're the pro there.
Yes. As you can see, Joanne is the face and the name. I'm the behind the scenes. I hide behind my LinkedIn profile, but I love it.
No.
So business development it's been in my blood. It's what I've done since I graduated from Michigan State University as well. And to be honest with you, LinkedIn is such a natural and easy platform to use as a business development tool. People are so open, and that's what I love about LinkedIn. They're so open to new ideas, and you just shoot them a message. Hey, this is what we do. Are you interested in talking? Great. If you're not, cool. That's wonderful. We'll go about our day. If you are, we set up a chat. We chat with them for 10, 15 minutes, sometimes half hour, sometimes 2 hours. It depends. And people just get it. When you reach out to them and they take the time to make a phone call and to chat for 15 minutes, then they really start to understand it and it starts to sink in and something clicks and they're like, oh, wow, I'm missing this train and I need to get on it.
Yeah, and I think where we really excel, Matt, and I do think we do a pretty good job with our social media, and really it's just LinkedIn.
Actually, yes.
We put education out there, We're educating, and then the more you educate our colleagues, they turn to you for, I get questions almost every day now on LinkedIn. Can you help this client here? Can you do this? We had a Texas, a physician down there who's got 100 imaging centers. We had a great talk with her one morning, and she put our information on her website. So you just kind of put yourself out there and get known as that industry expert. And we just happen to have become those folks, I think. So you do have your kind of friend. One time, a couple of weeks ago, I kind of got out a map. Remember the old map where you just kind of put a pin where every place you've been in the country?
Sure. I
started thinking about LinkedIn, that it's just funny. It's just so virtual that I realize I have these little friends online, and then I come out of that little land, right? And I'm Howell, Michigan. So I just put a little map together of all where our friends are across the country. And as you allude to the technology component, it's huge. I was on a go-to meeting an hour ago before, and I realized that every single one of us on there were 8 of us, we all connected via LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So LinkedIn is extremely powerful. To me, it's extremely, extremely powerful. So we have gone, virtually across the country, and I will largely say it's due to LinkedIn. But again, I think content, I share stories. I'm a huge storyteller. So I'm constantly trying to point out situations or stories and be real, be yourself on LinkedIn. I think once you're real, I think Gwynne and I are pretty approachable on LinkedIn. So that helps us too. So
I will reiterate the storytelling, the real life scenarios in any seminar that we've been in, a seminar with 400 people. You tell a real life scenario and everybody just sits up in their seat. They can relate to it. They know somebody that, oh my gosh, that could have been, Joe down the street. It's huge. And they're real stories, and they're about thousands of dollars that are coming out of these people's pockets. So it's really, really important. And it's just really a no-brainer.
And we're not really technical. I'll say we're pretty, I don't want to say too casual, but we're casual. So we're talking, when Gwynne's talking about those seminar stories, we're trying to hit on the things that are important to people. Mm-hmm. You're 65 now. All of a sudden, your healthcare is a really big deal. And you're not a 40-year-old invincible person any longer. It becomes real. You've known people that have passed away. They really, really care about the next 20, 30 years. So they care about things like, can I go to the doctor of my choice? Mm-hmm. Is this going to cover me in the trial? Things like that. But they don't care about the Part A Medicare deductible and what is it this year and what was it last year. You know what I mean? All the dry stuff that I find so many, I don't want to pick on advisors, but I kind of, you get the PDF from a clearinghouse that just says, here's what to teach your clients about Medicare. It's all the mechanical stuff. People don't care about that stuff, right? It's where can I go? Can I keep my doctor? How much is it going to cost me? And what coverage do I get? You know, so that's where the stuff just constantly kind of swirls. So we try and make Medicare kind of fun because it can be confusing and overwhelming for sure. So,
and with all of the sharing that you do, and I really want to point this out. So I'm on Gwynne's LinkedIn page right now, and her last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By the way, Cheryl Brown happens to be a friend of mine. I noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's fabulous.
Yeah, isn't she awesome? Yeah. And I met her on LinkedIn. I've never met her in person, but I talked to her. We're actually Facebook friends now. It's really crazy. But anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, one, because of the connections. But Gwynne has shared her last 10 posts are from other people. Right. Mm-hmm. And if you want to start having a massive footprint, is not just sharing, but one of the other cool things that Gwynne does on these is she comments with legitimate comments, thoughtful comments. Hey, you can tell I read this article. Here's my feeling on that. Now, does it still highlight your both specialties? Absolutely it does. But it's wonderful for you to see how things can get legs. So many people are so concerned about the volume of content that they have to create, and you don't. There's so much great content out there that if you just were active on social, you could have comments and have dialogues with people. That's how I met Cheryl. Cheryl posted something that she commented on something that another person who I follow commented on. I really liked her post. I reached out to her. I was like, hey, you know what? I don't know who the heck you are, but goodness gracious, that was an insightful thing. And now Cheryl and I have actually even done business together. So please make sure that you're doing all of the stuff. Again, here are 2 amazing role models that are hitting on so many cylinders. The cylinders of, 1, total niche, 2, showing and proving expertise specifically, providing great education and service for free, and they're kicking butt on social. If anybody who was listening to this hit 2 out of those 4, even 3 out of those 4, you all would be not only making a lot more money, but you would do what you came into this industry for, which is to help more and more people. Okay, now, I think we've made a good enough case that I'm hoping a lot of people reach out to you. Let's talk about how they can do that. What can they do to engage you? Because this is a huge win. Thank you so much for saying that this is as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Social Security seminars, because those are done. Nobody seems to have any success with those. And I get asked all the time, okay, Matt, what's working? And I'm hearing from you that this is what's working. So how can people either get the education from you? Do they have anything that they can purchase from you? Help us with that.
Yeah. No, there's nothing really you can purchase.
Okay.
And again, our services are free. I would say one of the first things to do if you are on LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn, absolutely get on LinkedIn, number one. But if you are, get on there, connect with both of us. And at that point, start a conversation, as much as you can with compliance behind you, but start conversing, get yourself out there as well as we'll be out there interacting, but your name popping up is huge as well. It's not just our names. So
Absolutely.
if you start that dialogue, ask a question about a Medicare beneficiary. We're happy to answer online. Again, then you're marketing yourself when you do that. Secondly, you can email either one of us. I'm Joanne, JOANNE @boomer-healthcare.com. You can connect with us that way. We can set up webinars. We can do anything we can from afar to help you. Again, we're very, very here to help. So we're constantly giving you documents and cut and paste, and here's some stuff. And then you're just using us as the resource to help your client. If you're local, let's do a seminar. That's great. We'll coach you through how to do that. So there's so many ways to just stimulate the conversation. It's never ending. So I would just say, look, we're very approachable. Just approach us and get started. Is that easy? What I miss, Gwynne?
No, absolutely. Honestly, I connected with a local advisor, I'd say maybe a month ago. Just had a meeting with him. Bing, bang, boom. He was posting about Medicare the next day. Just got it, understands how important it is. He's like, okay, my marketing girl is going to get in touch with you. We're going to do a seminar here and then probably here. Once advisors get it and the importance of it, it flows and it works. And we're here to help. That really, as Joanne says, we are just here to help. I know it sounds odd to say Medicare is fun, but it is fun. It is fun to see these people go out of that room feeling so confident in their decision and have this peace of mind that they weren't able to get otherwise. So it's really cool.
And here's something else. It's a tidbit for the advisor that's dealing with the 40-year-olds, because not everybody has 65-year-old clients. Most of you do, but at 45, start asking and probing about their parents. Are they helping their parents? Are they dealing with any long-term care situations? So beyond Medicare just being an important thing for families, let alone the 65-plus person, it's important because Medicare doesn't cover long-term care. As the advisor talking through that. That's a huge opportunity for you guys to be out there selling life insurance with chronic illness riders or, long-term care solutions. So we feed that to you too. So we might bring it up to the client and then ship them right back to you and say, hey, there's this need to talk about that. Go talk to Joe Blow about that topic. So you can deal with the 45-year-olds and the 50-year-olds and get them, they're dealing with parents that are now 70 and 75. So, hey, what are your parents
I did that
on?
I did that with my parents. They were absolutely on the most horrible, awful, wrong plan. I'm like, stop.
But kids aren't asking. Kids don't know that. Right. And why do you know? Because you assume your parents are taking care of themselves. But, you could have my parents are 73 and 75 and youthful. So, but I know their plans. So it's a little different because of my industry. But that's a way to start engaging your younger folks and just showing that you're aware about healthcare. Then if they're 65 plus, it's a different conversation. It's just simply, hey, we haven't talked about this as much or drilled down as much as we should have, but let's ask, here's a couple questions based on some people we work with. Can we, let's open this up and explore? And they'll find people on the wrong plans. Absolutely. Or overpaying. And simply they might be on the right plan, but they're overpaying by $200 a month. That's huge. Do you want to be the advisor that just found these people $3,000 or $4,000? I would want to be. So it's pretty simple.
We talk a lot about having different conversations that make you look different in your client's eyes. If you're consistently going back to your clients and just talking about the performance in the stock market or life insurance products or the same stuff that you're going over and over again, you're not going to have the impact in these clients' lives. You're not going to be as referable, and you're definitely not going to have the level of success. This is a different conversation. It's a difference maker. It's a differentiator. The name of the title, or the title of the podcast, Marketing Medicare is a Differentiator. This is a great opportunity for all of you to have a different conversation. It also gives you a wonderful opportunity, not only if you do focus on the 65-year-olds, to ask the 65-year-olds, are their children prepared for this? Because healthcare costs are probably going to continue to go up, and they need to start planning for it at 45.
Right.
Great opportunities to have great conversations with people and truly help them out. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I would add one more thing to that piece, exactly what you just said, Matt. As a female, being in that industry, in the financial industry, women generally aren't caring about the pie charts and the stats, exactly like you said. They care about healthcare. They're running the healthcare for their parents. They're the female that's a caretaker. They're the female that's going to be left with the wealth when the older men die. So all the statistics about wealth in America and women, there's a great book called The Longevity Economy that it points out just this industry is going, it's female. And telling you, healthcare and care and caretaking and long-term care, all those things together wrap into this. And we're just that little piece of Medicare too. So this is really a door opener, and the clients will thank you for opening that door. And you're absolutely right. You just, you're not just a pie chart. You're someone that really cares about the health of their family, economically and emotionally. So so it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool topic. And I had no idea, honestly, the impact it brings. And therefore, here I am 24/7 now because it's pretty amazing. So use it. Yes.
We just did a podcast, I don't know, 2-3 podcasts ago with Paulette Filton and her partner. They focus specifically on how to communicate and market to women. So please go back and listen to that. And if you both aren't connected with Paulette, she's an amazing person. And they're saying the same sort of thing. Excellent. This is the important, come on, guys, you're 51% of the population, and you're also going to control 90% of the wealth at one point in your life, right? So, those are things that if you aren't paying attention to that, then you're missing out on way too much, and honestly not serving our country in the way that you need to. Well, Gwynne, Joanne, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great.
So everybody needs to do two things. One, if you're driving, don't do this. But if you're not driving, please make sure you grab a pen and write this down. Boomer-healthcare.com is their website. All sorts of great information on that website. Some good education and a great way to contact their team. Or you can dial 248-871-7756, 248-871-7756. I want everybody to realize that in 18 months from now, 6 months from now, when you're doing these educational things and you're filling your seminar rooms with people that you're working with who are truly getting real assistance, you're saving them money, you're really helping them in the long-term planning process, that you heard it here. This is what our podcasts are for, is to provide you with actionable items from proven, successful financial services professionals who can help you make a difference in your practice. So for Gwynne and Joanne, this is Matt Halloran. We will see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Are you ready to change the way you communicate with your clients? Are you tired of being the best-kept secret in your area? Learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your business. Contact us today and see what the power of podcasting can do for your business. Click on the Contact Us link on our website at topadvisormarketing.com and set up a call to learn more. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for more updates and information.